Physical exercise. What kinds of physical exercise do you like? Well, I really enjoy working out, so in fact, I dig many kinds of sports, including playing badminton, riding the exercise bike, hitting the gym to lift some weights, swimming, and so on. Well, as a matter of fact, before coming here this morning, actually, I took a cab here, but before that, I rode the exercise bike at home for about 30 minutes, and it helped me work up a sweat, and then I went to take a shower, and made me feel really good, and then I just left my apartment to come here. Do you think children should do sport regularly? Yeah, sure, absolutely. There's no doubt that sport should play a vital role in children's lives. In fact, what I think is that it's not just about children. Everybody should do the same. But of course, your question is about children. So I believe that regular exercise is important to children in so many ways. Like, for starters, it allows them to lead a healthy life. Nobody should ever lead a sedentary life. So if they do sport on a regular basis, they can be healthier, and in turn, it will help them study better. Another reason is that a lot of sports are team sports. So by participating in those sports, children can learn how to work with others on a team, how to cooperate and stuff like that, which are very important for them when they grow up. What was your favorite sport when you were young? Well, when I was growing up, I think my favorite sport was, I don't remember. I think it was playing badminton. And I would do it on a daily basis with my parents. Every day after dinner. About half an hour after dinner, we would just go to the park near our home and play badminton for about 40 or 50 minutes. It was a good opportunity for me and my folks to bond, and it also helped me live a healthier life. What kinds of sport are popular in China? Well, I think many sports are well liked here, like swimming and jogging. Maybe swimming is the most popular sport because every time you go to a public swimming pool, especially in the summer, you see that it's jam-packed with people, right? Like in one lane, there are usually, dozens of people. So it makes it sometimes it makes it a little hard for people to swim. Rainy days. Do you like rainy days? No, frankly, I can't say that I like rainy days because I am an outdoorsy type and I enjoy doing those outdoor activities like playing soccer and badminton, going hiking, going on picnics in the park and so on. And all of these things can only be done on a sunny day, so I love the sunshine better. Sunshine allows me to do all of the things that I mentioned just now, and also it puts me in a better mood. On a rainy day, I tend to get a little depressed. Does it rain much in China? Yeah, overall I think so, especially in my hometown. Every summer we get a lot of torrential rains. It rains really heavily in July and August, and sometimes the whole city is even flooded, which I don't like at all. Is there any part of China where it doesn't rain much? Well, one city that comes to mind is, not city, but one place that comes to mind is Inner Mongolia, which is in the north of China. A lot of the place is desert, right? So it's super dry. That means it doesn't get a lot of rain. I remember I spent about a week there with some of my friends several years back. So we went there on vacation, actually. We just wanted to see what it was like. So we stayed in Inner Mongolia for 6 or 7 days. It was really dry, and I got dehydrated sometimes. Do you remember any time when it rained particularly heavily in your hometown? Yeah, sure. Like I said before, we get a lot of rain in the summer, so actually last year, if I remember correctly, it was in July, probably on July 23rd or 24th, the whole city was flooded. It was raining like non-stop, super heavily. It was pouring all day long, and so yeah, the whole city was like inundated with water, and I just didn't go anywhere. I only stayed at home. I read a book and just watched TV with my parents. It was a terrible day. Sleep. How many hours do you sleep every day? Well, most of the time I sleep about 7 hours every day. I usually hit the sack around 11 and then get out of bed at 6 the next morning, which is pretty early for most people, I suppose. However, occasionally, if there's something on my mind, I guess I only get about 3 or 4 hours sleep. Is it necessary to take a nap every day? Well, I'm not sure if it's necessary. I suppose it's very important for some people who don't usually sleep very well at night. But for others who have always have a sound sleep, I don't suppose it's really that essential. Do old people sleep a lot? No, I don't think so. I mean, speaking from experience, most old people I know don't sleep as much as young people do. They just sleep for about 5 or 6 hours every night. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why. I guess it's just because they don't have to work as hard as young people during the day, and they just don't need as much sleep. Do you always have a good sleep? Yeah, I guess I do. Like I said before, most of the time I get about 7 hours sleep, and I hardly ever dream. Probably that's a sign of having a good sleep. Work or studies? Are you a student or do you have a job? I'm a student. I'm a university student studying Japanese, and I'm going to graduate next year. What's your major? I think I've just said it, right? I major in Japanese, and it's something that I dig a lot. I really enjoy what I do every single day because our teachers ask us to learn all about this language, and we are also required to watch a great amount of Japanese anime, which is quite interesting, you know? Some of those animation films are very fascinating, and I get a lot of pleasure from that kind of thing. Why did you choose this major? I chose it mainly because ever since I was a little child, I had always enjoyed watching Japanese movies and TV shows, so this language was something that I was kind of immersed in for so many years. And then when I was thinking what to study in college, I thought maybe I could just study this major, study Japanese. It would be interesting and easy for me. What do you like and dislike about what you study? What I really like about it is that, it's my passion. Japanese is my passion. This language is it's a lot of fun. I mean, it is complicated, but once you get to a certain level, get to a deeper level actually, you feel like it's quite enjoyable studying the vocabulary and the culture behind it. However, there is also something that I don't quite like about it. It's just that in the future, I don't suppose I'm going to be able to find a well-paying job because our job prospects are quite limited. I have no idea what I'm going to do after I graduate from university. What do you plan to do after you finish your studies? Like I said, I'm not very confident about my future career prospects, so I suppose maybe after my university education, I'm going to further my studies abroad. Probably I'm going to study in the UK for a year, and I will change majors. Maybe I'll study something else, but I haven't made up my mind as to what to study yet. Teachers. What kind of teachers do you like? Well, off the top of my head, I really like those teachers who are positive, outgoing, who have a sunny disposition, because this kind of teachers really tends to have a great influence on their students. For example, one of my favorite teachers in middle school was my history teacher, Mr. Zhang. He was extremely bubbly, and I just really liked him. His classes were always fun and enjoyable. Who was your favorite teacher in school? Well, like I said before, I really liked Mr. Zhang in middle school, but there was another teacher in high school who I adored as well. She was Miss Yang. Yeah, she was Miss Yang, and she taught us geography. Geography was my favorite subject in high school, mainly because of her. I mean, she was so hilarious. She had a great sense of humor. Every time I was in her class, she was always able to crack us up. So I always had a great time when I was listening to her. Have you had any bad teachers before? Bad teachers, well, I'm not sure what you mean by bad, but when I was in primary school, there was one teacher who taught us math, who, she bit me. She beat me, I'm sorry, no. She beat me one time with a stick because I didn't hand in my homework in time. And then instead of telling my parents about it, she beat me in class, and I still hate her now. Would you want to be a teacher yourself? I don't really think so. Honestly, I am a little short-tempered, so I don't suppose I am patient enough to be able to become a teacher. Transportation. How did you come here today, and why did you choose that? Well, I came here by subway. I chose it because, subway is my favorite mode of transport. I take it every single day, no matter where I go. I just go to the nearest subway station, get on it, and I really like this form of transport mainly because I think it's the most reliable means of transport because I never have to worry about being caught up in a big traffic jam. The traffic is a huge problem in my hometown. Sometimes if I take the bus or the taxi, I'm always clogged up in traffic, so that's a huge problem, and that's why most of the time I just take the subway. Is it convenient to take a bus in your city? Yeah, I'd say it's extremely convenient. Well, public transportation is very advanced in my hometown. We have so many bus lines, I guess there are hundreds of buses running around on the streets, everywhere to every corner of the city. So if you want to take the bus, you just walk for about 200, 300 meters. Trust me, you will find a bus stop. Is driving popular in your country? Oh, sure. It's so popular that there are like millions of vehicles on the streets running around in Beijing. I mean, we have a huge population here, right? We have about 24 million people, and every day there are 5 million vehicles on the roads. And that definitely shows how popular driving is. People really enjoy it mainly because it's comfortable and it's convenient. You don't have to wait for a bus or wait for a subway train. But it does lead to many problems like traffic congestion and air pollution. Plants. Do you keep plants at home? Yeah, I do. But no, I don't. My parents do because my parents and I live together, and they have some cacti in our apartment. Only cacti because my parents have told me that they keep them mainly just primarily because they're easy to keep. We don't have to water them a lot. We'll just let them grow and they can survive. So that's awesome. What plants did you grow when you were young? Nothing. I'm not a big fan of keeping plants at home or anywhere, actually, because I even find it hard to take care of myself. And if I had to look after a plant or a pet or a baby, I would be completely at a loss. Do you think plants can be good gifts? I have no idea. I mean, if boyfriends or husbands give their girlfriends or wives some flowers, that's definitely a very good gift. And girls usually feel super happy or even on cloud nine, super excited when they get gifts like these. But plants, I don't know, there's nothing in my mind, nothing that comes to mind, like cacti, I talked about that. So if someone gave me a cactus, I would be like, what? Why do you do that? So I'm sorry, I really have no idea. Do you know anything about growing a plant? No, nothing. I've said that over and over again. Punctuality. Are you often late? No, I'm not. I am a pretty punctual person, and I attach great importance to the habit of being on time most of the time. Well, no matter where I go, for example, if I have to go to a meeting, which is going to start at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I will take into consideration how much time it will take me to get there. If it's half an hour, I'll just leave my home around 3:15 or 3:20. I will try to make sure that I'm not late. I hate those people who are always late. So I just try not to. How do you remind yourself to be on time? How do I remind myself? I don't know. I don't really know how to talk about this because I don't do anything in particular. I just set an alarm clock on my phone. Every time if I have to go and do something important and I need to be there on time, I just set an alarm. I just tell Siri, actually. I use an iPhone. So I tell Siri to set an alarm on my phone telling me when I need to get up, when I need to get dressed, or when I have to leave my apartment and stuff like that. This is the only thing I do to remind myself not to be late for something. Yeah. Why are some people always late? That's an interesting question, and I've thought about it, but it seems like I've never really found a reason, I have a lot of friends who are always late whenever we are going to a party or maybe we're going to sing karaoke together. I always arrive at the place 20 or 15 minutes before, and they always I mean, most of them always end up late. When they come, they tell me that the traffic is terrible and stuff like that. So, yeah, I suppose maybe they always have an excuse and they always know that they can get away with it. I mean, I, as a friend, will never blame them for being late. Perhaps that's why. Do you think it's important to be punctual? Yeah, absolutely. I can't emphasize enough the importance of being punctual because in this day and age, in this civilized society, we have to show respect for other people that we're meeting, right? Being punctual means being respectful, so that's why I believe it's extremely important. Do you think people these days are as punctual as they were in the past? Well, I really have no idea because honestly, I just feel that people have always been pretty much the same. You know, when I was a kid, well, of course, when I was a child, I just went to school every day, right? Most of my classmates wouldn't want to be late because they wouldn't get scolded by our teachers and parents. And now, I have no idea. I'm really sorry. I don't suppose I can give you a good answer to this question. Saving money. Did you save money when you were young? Well, when I was growing up, honestly, I don't remember saving money when I was a kid. It's just that whenever I wanted to buy something, I just went home to my parents and asked them for some money, and they would always give me that. As long as it wasn't something very pricey, you know, if I needed to pay a pretty penny to buy something, they would not give me the money. When was the last time you saved money to buy something? Well, the last time I needed to scrimp and save in order to buy something pricey was actually 2 months ago. I really wanted to buy the newest iPhone, the iPhone 10, but it's super expensive, you know, and at that time I didn't have enough money, so I just tightened my belt and I scrimped and saved for a few months. And I also borrowed some money from my parents, and then a couple weeks ago I finally bought my iPhone 10, and I was on cloud 9 when I got it. Have you ever given money to children? Well, yes, I have. In China, it's a tradition that on some special occasions, you know, for example, during the Spring Festival, adults need to give money to children. We call this kind of money lucky money. So usually we put the money in a red envelope and then we give it to kids in the family, and they just, you know, they run away with the money and we just lose some. So it's pretty sad for adults, but children usually feel super excited about it. Do you think parents should teach children to save money? Well, yeah, I guess so. In my opinion, it is a pretty vital life skill, you know, for children to learn how to save up in order to buy something, because they will eventually grow up and they will have to deal money. And this kind of monetary skill is critical in anybody's life. So yeah, I believe it's quite necessary that parents teach children this kind of skill when they're still young. Travel, space travel. Do you want to travel in outer space? Outer space? Well, I've never really thought about that before because I've never believed it would be possible. I mean, not for me, because I know, if I'm not mistaken, it's already possible to some people. I mean, billionaires, right? Not millionaires, they can't afford it, but billionaires, sure. They are wealthy enough to go and travel in outer space, but I'm not affluent enough. I don't really have enough money. So your question was, do I want to do it? Yes, I do, but, you know, it's a long shot. I don't suppose it's ever going to happen. What would you do if you had the opportunity? Well, if I had the opportunity to go and travel in outer space, I suppose the first thing I would do would just be, you know, tell everybody that I got this opportunity, and they would be super envious of me, and that would make me feel awesome. Do you think it's necessary to see other planets? Well, other planets. So your question is whether it's necessary, right? No, I don't think it's necessary. It's probably crucial for governments, for some organizations like NASA, to go and see other planets to see if they are inhabitable, because maybe one day in the future, if we can't live on the Earth anymore, we can move to another planet like Mercury or Mars. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert on the universe or other planets. But for us, for the average people, no, it's not that important. When was the last time you went traveling? Well, the last time I went somewhere, it was actually just several months ago. My whole family went to Phuket in Thailand. Phuket is a very famous and popular tourist destination. It's so beautiful. The views there are spectacular and the people are quite hospitable. So we had a great time there. Do you like to travel by air? I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it and I'm not crazy about it. When I'm travel by air, it's only because I can't take any other form of transportation. I can't take the subway, I can't take the bus, I can't take the train. So when I'm traveling abroad, I just have to do it. So it's not a question of whether I like it or not. It's a question of whether I have to do it or not. Watches. How often do you wear a watch? Well, never. No, I can't say never. Probably sometimes I'll wear a watch. I don't know. So I guess the best answer should be once in a blue moon. I mean, most of the time, I just use my phone to see what time it is. It is already pretty convenient. I don't really see the need to wear a watch. It's not like before when we didn't have any smartphones, when we couldn't tell time if we didn't have a watch. I mean, things have changed dramatically. What was your first watch like? My first watch? Well, it must have been 15 years ago. So I vaguely remember that when I was a child, probably when I was only 7 or 8 years old, on my birthday. One birthday I got tons of gifts, and one of them was a watch from my dad because I had been pestering my dad to buy me a watch for a long time, and finally he gave in and bought me one. It was black. So that's all I can remember. I mean, it was nothing special, it was not expensive, it was just black. Do people still wear watches in your country? Well, not everybody, but some people do. Some people who are businessmen wear watches because maybe they just think that being a businessman wearing a watch is essential. I don't know why it's essential, but a lot of people tend to think that way. And also, an increasing number of people these days are wearing the Apple Watch. They just think it's trendy, it's fashionable, and if they wear it, other people will think they're cool. I don't think so. I've been trying to improve my English in order to go and further my studies in the UK, so I use English dictionaries very often. So I use English dictionaries very frequently. I work out quite regularly. I work out on a pretty regular basis. Not only does physical exercise help people keep fit, but it also gives us a mood boost. I read news pretty much every day. I read news every single day. I read news on a daily basis. It's always good to be updated on what's going on in the world. I wear a watch from time to time. I wear a watch once in a while. I wear a watch occasionally, only on some important occasions. I take a cab 2 or 3 times a week when I'm feeling very tired or when the weather is terrible. I'm someone that attaches great importance to punctuality, so I rarely arrive somewhere late. So I seldom arrive somewhere late. In the subway station close to my home, I always see tons of posters of a wide variety of products. I'm a member of a gym within walking distance of my apartment, and that's where I often work out. I'm a member of a gym within spitting distance of my apartment, and that's where I often work out. There's a pet store just down the road from where I live. They have some really adorable cats and dogs there. Mr. Wu's home is just a few blocks from where I live, so whenever I'm not super busy, I just go to his apartment and hang out with him. What I love the most in my hometown is a mall in the center of the city. What I love the most in my hometown is a mall in the heart of the city. That's my favorite place to hang out with my friends. This planetarium is in the northwest of the city, and it takes a little over an hour to get there by subway. I go back to my folks' place once a week, and we cook and eat together. It's a great bonding opportunity. The only pet I've ever had was a fluffy puppy. It was given to me as a birthday gift from a very good friend of mine. It was given to me as a birthday gift from a longtime friend of mine. It was given to me as a birthday gift from one of my closest friends. When I feel bored, I just listen to some music to pass the time. I like to make some sushi in my spare time. I think it's a great way to relax. I think it's a great way to unwind. I think it's a great way to reduce stress. I have some plants at home, and I think watering them several times a day is a form of relaxation. There's a karaoke app on my phone, and I always use it to belt out the songs I like. It's a good antidote to my work. It's a good antidote to my studies. Music is an integral part of my life. It's relaxing, enjoyable, uplifting, and therapeutic. I can't go a day without music. I like to listen to the pitter-patter of raindrops. They have a calming effect on me. No matter how busy I am, I always try to squeeze 30 minutes of jogging into my schedule. It helps me take my mind off things. Whenever I feel down in the dumps, I go and talk with my dad. He always has a way to cheer me up. He always has a way to put me in a better mood. I was overjoyed when I got a ticket to my favorite singer's concert. I was on cloud 9 when I got a ticket to my favorite singer's concert. I was in seventh heaven when I got a ticket to my favorite singer's concert. My family chartered a yacht out to sea in Phuket. We had a ball. We had a blast. We had a great time. We had a lot of fun on the boat that day. My least favorite teacher was absolutely Ms. Wang, my chemistry teacher. Her classes were kind of a drag. Her classes were mind-numbing. I never write any handwritten letters now. Writing one and then going to the post office to mail it is rather time-consuming. Picking out a good gift for a friend is a lot of effort. I'm far from rich enough to go and travel to outer space, so I'd rather not think about it. It's a waste of time. I have a heavy workload in school, so I have to go to the library to study very often. So I have to go to the library to study very frequently. What I like the most about where I live is actually the park nearby. I go there quite regularly. I go there on a quite regular basis. I take the subway pretty much every day. I take the subway on a daily basis. I take the subway every single day. It's fast and reliable, and so it's my favorite form of transport. From time to time, once in a while, occasionally, if I want to feel comfy on my way to work, I just take a cab. I can't afford to do it very often, though. We seldom get snow in the winter, so if I go to the north of China and see the world covered in a blanket of snow, I feel in seventh heaven. When it rains, I hardly ever go out, because I don't want to be soaking wet, and also I hate the mud. I say "nin" once in a blue moon, because I was never taught that when I was growing up. However, it's an absolute must in cities like Beijing. I bought a large mirror in the supermarket close to my home a couple of months ago. There's a post office within walking distance of my home, but I never go there and mail any letters because I only send emails now. I'm very pleased that there is a Starbucks in close proximity to my apartment because I go and grab a cup of joe there every morning. There's a super big square in the center of the city. There's a super big square in the heart of the city. And that's a really important place for people to hang out, socialize, and also do some exercise. Leo's home is actually quite far from where I live, and every time I want to visit him, it takes me roughly 50 minutes to arrive. The last time I took a taxi was 3 days ago. My cousin and I went to the aquarium, and it took us a little over an hour to get there. My apartment is in the north of the city. My apartment is in the south of the city. My apartment is in the west of the city. My apartment is in the east of the city. My apartment is in the northwest of the city. My apartment is in the northeast of the city. My apartment is in the southwest of the city. My apartment is in the southeast of the city. It's a 1-hour drive from the city center. Some very creative advertisements actually give me some good talking points when I hang out with my folks. When I hang out with my family members. One of my pals is a huge fan of boating. Every time we go to a park, he has to rent a boat and row it for a while. One of my gal pals is a huge fan of boating. Every time we go to a park, she has to rent a boat and row it for a while. I was taught how to use the computer by a very good friend of mine. By one of my closest friends. By my closest friend when I was 14. I feel quite fortunate that my neighbor and I have a lot in common. My neighbor and I are on the same wavelength. My neighbor and I see eye to eye on almost everything. We've been getting on perfectly since we first met each other. I think the best way to relax and kill time is to be with friends. Chatting with them is very therapeutic. I used to flick through a magazine every day before hitting the sack when I was in middle school. I found it super relaxing. Whenever it rains, I just like to sit by the window and listen to the pitter-patter of raindrops. I don't know why, but it really helps me unwind. What I think is that it wouldn't hurt to play computer games for a while every day. It just helps people reduce stress. Picnicking once in a while helps me take my mind off things. I guess most people wouldn't agree, but I think doing housework is a wonderful stress buster, especially when water runs through my fingers when I wash the dishes. Going to the park and sitting on the grass and simply basking in the sun is extremely enjoyable, extremely pleasurable. Watching a sitcom in the evening and laughing for 20 minutes really puts me in a better mood. I was overjoyed, I was super thrilled, I was on cloud 9, I was on top of the world, I was in 7th heaven when my mom told me that we were going to Thailand on vacation. My parents and I took a cruise to Japan and we had a blast. We had a ball. We had the time of our lives. We had a great time. I'm not a fan of learning history at all. It's kind of a drag. I'm terrible at what I study now. My excuse is that it's super dull. My excuse is that it's super mind-numbing. What I don't like about my apartment is, it should be the bathroom. Cleaning it is a lot of effort. What I think is that teenagers tend to be more idealistic than adults. What I think is that parks are wonderful places for people to hang out, work out, and socialize. From what I've seen on TV, from what I've heard from other people, from what I've read in newspapers or on the internet. From what I've read on the internet, my hometown is expected to see less and less rain in the coming years. From what I've heard from other people, listening to soothing music actually helps people recover from an illness or injury. From what I've seen on TV, most people in their 20s now eat out at least 4 times a week. Cooking is not in fashion anymore. What I like the most about my friends is that all of them are super supportive. Whatever I want to do, they back me up. What I like the most about my family is that there doesn't seem to be a generation gap between my parents and me. What's great about WeChat is that it offers all kinds of services. I can practically live inside this app and still do anything I want. What's great about rock music is that every time I feel a little down or depressed, listening to it helps lift my spirits. It was my dad who taught me how to use the computer. It's my English teacher who's had the greatest influence on my life. It was yesterday that I last hung out with my friends. We went out to a bar and had a few beers. It's important, necessary, difficult, convenient for somebody to do something. It's important for Chinese people to give their babies names that bring them good luck. I believe it's necessary for us to go out and soak up the sunshine. There is a subway station within spitting distance of my home, so it's convenient for me to take the subway every day. I believe it's extremely difficult for us to teach elderly people to use new technology, unless they're very determined to learn. It's important, essential, necessary, crucial, vital, that. It's extremely important that we try to be polite all the time. It's necessary that we try to get updated on what's happening around the world. It's vital that children learn to cook at a young age because they will eventually grow up and live independently, and cooking is an essential life skill. Every time I go to the Summer Palace, I rent a boat and row in for a while on Kunming Lake. Every time I put pen to paper, I can't help but hate my own handwriting, which is terrible. Whenever, no matter when. Whenever I play with my 2-year-old puppy, I have a blast. I love it so much. Whenever I don't have anything better to do, I just hit the pool. Swimming is my all-time favorite sport. No matter when you turn on your TV, you see tons of ads. It always seems like they take up more time than real shows. No matter when I hang out with my cousin, she's always wearing a pair of earrings and a necklace. Wherever, no matter where you go, no matter where I go. Wherever you go in my hometown, you will definitely find a park. We just adore parks. Wherever you are in China, as long as you want to call a cab, you can use Didi. No matter where you go, you can find hot pot restaurants. I think it's our national favorite now. No matter where you go, you can see some elderly people dancing together in some public squares or parks. It's their favorite pastime. Plays a crucial, vital, and essential role in something. The internet plays such a vital role in our lives today that we just can't live without it. My puppy, an adorable Labrador, plays an essential role in my life. It brings me a lot of joy, and I'm happy every day because of it. I can't emphasize enough the importance of something. I can't emphasize enough the importance of physical activity. Not only does it help us keep fit, but it's also good for our mental well-being. I can't emphasize enough the importance of having sufficient sleep every day. Our work productivity depends on it. Bring closer together. One benefit of eating at home with family is that it brings people closer together. They can talk and laugh while eating, which is a good bonding opportunity. I think reading news brings people closer together. No matter where we are, we know the same things that happened. I love sports because I love the feeling of working out with my friends. I think sports bring us closer together. So that, in order to. I'm working extremely hard every day now in order to earn enough money to buy an apartment of my own in this city. The local government should definitely invest more in infrastructure in order to provide people with more places to hang out and have fun. Several friends and I went to that coastal city for a week in order to leave all of our usual responsibilities behind. I got up very early that morning so that I could catch the early train. Enable somebody to do something. Having a good dictionary allows us to quickly understand a new word when we're learning a foreign language. Our gift-giving culture in China allows us to always stay close with our friends and relatives. Having this park in the neighborhood enables people living nearby to have a place to exercise on a regular basis. This karaoke app allows me to sing like a pro whenever I want to. Get a better understanding of something. Traveling is educational because it allows us to get a better understanding of different cultures, traditions, and lifestyles. My favorite TV show is named This is Beijing. Watching it helps me get a better understanding of the history and culture of my home city. Have no choice but to do something. Most of the time I write on my computer, but occasionally I might have no choice but to write by hand. That's when I feel really bad, because I have terrible penmanship. We all love sitting down and relaxing, but we have no choice but to work out on a regular basis, because leading a sedentary lifestyle is very unhealthy. There's no doubt that more and more Chinese people want to travel overseas. There's no doubt that being bilingual and even multilingual can make us more competitive when we enter the job market. Has, over the last years, decades. I've been to 7 countries over the last 5 years. I've used 4 different iPhones over the last 3 years. My all-time favorite singer, JJ, has released over 15 albums over the last decade. We've had a lot more rainfall in the summer over the last 5 years. Is becoming increasingly more and more. The use of the internet is becoming increasingly important in this day and age. Eating out is becoming increasingly popular nowadays as people are much busier than ever before. Social media is becoming more and more well-liked, which gives traditional newspapers a hard time. They might disappear one day. Outdoor activities are becoming more and more popular among young people because they're getting more and more health conscious. It's not uncommon for somebody to do something. It's not uncommon for senior citizens to live alone in China, with their children living and working in a different city. It's not uncommon for Chinese tourists to stock up on foreign products when they're traveling overseas. Raise people's awareness of something. There should be more public service advertisements to raise people's awareness of childhood obesity. In order to grapple with the problem of poaching, we should first of all try to raise people's awareness of the consequences of it. Something is a top priority. There are so many problems facing my hometown, but I think reducing traffic congestion is a top priority. I've decided to further my studies in the UK, so improving my English is a top priority now. This is why I use a dictionary on a daily basis. What left a deep impression on me was that they had prepared the 3-tier cake, which looked so beautiful right in the center of the venue. What left a deep impression on me was that he knew practically everything. There will definitely be many buildings that are thousands of meters tall in the future. There will definitely be many robots working alongside us in the future. It's quite likely that, due to the growth of artificial intelligence, it's quite likely that we won't need to learn any foreign language at all in the near future. Society is changing fast. It's quite likely that many of the matters that we consider to be so important today will be forgotten in the future. It's quite likely that I'll go back to that lake this summer.